Good morning, everyone. This is State Climatologist Gary McManus with your Mesonet Weather Report. Well, the Oklahoma Mesonet's 120 lonely sentinels out across the state, taking measurements every 5 minutes, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, in order to help keep you, your loved ones, and your property safe. Sometimes they get hit just like you folks do. Tornadoes, snow and ice, lightning, and wildfires. Here you can see the Woodward Mesonet site. They got hit by the Woodward wildfire. Did a lot of damage out that way, and also did some damage at our Mesonet site. But we will get it repaired, and it'll be back up and running and helping keep Woodward safe. Part of the reason we had so many wildfires and acres burned was because of the drought. And we did see some changes in the drought monitor. Not a lot of good ones, but let's get right to that new map. Okay, the same basic pattern even after the rainfall we had over the last week. We didn't see a lot of big changes, a few interruptions in those severe and extreme drought areas across the southern part of the state mostly. But we did add some of those abnormally dry areas up into the Panhandle, northwest Oklahoma. That's the yellow colors on the drought monitor map. Now, I did ask the National Drought Monitor author, who has the final say, for some moderate D1 drought to be put up in the Panhandle. They didn't accept that, but we will try again next week. Seems like there's a lot of evidence for that drought up in the Panhandle. They do now see about 90 days without significant moisture up in that area. The same thing for other more localized parts of the state. We still have up in northeast Oklahoma up to 40+ days without significant moisture. Up there in parts of northwest Oklahoma, and as I said, the Panhandle. But at least we did reset some of these areas in the map, so that's the good news. The bad news, we just need a lot more. Here we see the departure from normal rainfall map for the winter thus far. I showed you this last week and showed you that it was the driest on record. With last week's rain, we did bump it up to the 9th driest on record. So a little bit of improvement there. Certainly not a lot of good news when you look at it overall, but some of those deficits did decrease a little bit. We still see big time deficits from 2 to as much as 5 inches plus over across the eastern 2/3 of the state. But when you look at the percent of normal rainfall map, so compared to what we would normally expect for this time of year, it really evens out across the area. Lots of places, especially the Panhandle, northwest Oklahoma, less than 50% of normal. Also central up into northeast Oklahoma. But everywhere is pretty much in deficit, just a few areas that are close to normal, most below 50% at least. Let's take a look into next week. Now, even though we did cool down to more February-like temperatures this weekend, we still see coming up increased odds of above normal temperatures across the entire state. So no sign of any let up in that above normal regime we've been in. You know, we'll have some dips here and there, but by and large, it's going to remain above normal in temperature. Precipitation, we still see increased odds of below normal precipitation across the western half or so. Normal conditions across the rest of the state. So we have to remember February is not the wettest part of the year. So even if it's near normal, it's not going to be a drought buster by any stretch of the imagination. I think if it's going to be warmer than normal, we could at least get some rainfall, maybe get that green up a little earlier, maybe end some of this bad wildfire danger we've been seeing a little bit earlier in the season. That's it for this time. We'll see you next time on the Mesonet Weather Report.